Hey everybody, and welcome to a new edition of Can Do Entertainment Presents May the Force Be With Who, my long-awaited where we are at in season 10 of the new series of Doctor Who. And after 4 episodes, I'm finally caught up. I've got the Sling TV, so I'm finally caught up on series 10, or at least up through the first 4 episodes. And I'm going to say that I'm digging it so far. I guess we're going to start off with the pilot, which was the first episode, and the introduction of the brand new companion Bill, played by Pearl Mackie. And I know that there was a lot of backlash in the Whovian community last year when Pearl Mackie was cast, and they shot that little friend from the future kind of short featuring the Daleks. And there was kind of this, oh, she sounds too much like, a bargain basement Donna, or, she asks too many snarky questions, blah, 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 blah. But basically, coming right out of the bat, I dig Bill. Bill is awesome. I really love the first introductory scene between 12 and Bill, where he's sitting there in the office and makes that comment to her about how when she doesn't understand things, she smiles instead of frowns. That was a very doctorish line. And just, I want to go ahead and get this out of the way before I forget. You can just tell that, this is Capaldi's last series, and he seems to be having just a ball. He just seems to be enjoying himself immensely. And the thing that has been the strongest part of the series so far is the relationship between Bill and 12. And the pilot was a really good, solid first kickoff to the series. When I'd seen in the trailers that it was a water creature, I was really hoping for the return of the Flood from David Tennant's penultimate episode, The Waters of Mars. Unfortunately, it was not the return of the Flood. Basically, I guess we got left with calling it the Puddle. But the whole kind of love and lost thing between Heather and Bill, you really felt bad for Bill. And another great little part in the episode was when Bill was talking to 12 about not having pictures of her mom and everything, and then we're led to believe that 12 went back in time and took pictures of Bill's mom, and then you saw kind of in the reflection, that was just these little touches that have happened in series 10 so far that have been awesome. Now, like I said, I enjoyed the pilot. I thought it was a good start to the series. The part with the Daleks and the Movellans was kind of, it was a nice little callback. And, if we have to use the Daleks, let's use them sparingly. I liked the puddle creature. I liked the love lost thing with Bill and Heather. And, they've really humanized Bill. And she sounds like one of us would sound if we were with the Doctor. And the whole part about when he was going to erase her memory and do the mind wipe on her. And she's very, questions that she asks and things that she says to 12 are things that we would probably say if we were in that situation. So I really enjoyed the pilot, the first episode. Now, jumping right ahead to the second episode, Smile, the one with the emoji bots, or the Vardy or Verdi, or however they were pronounced. It was Frank Cottrell Boyce, who was the writer of the episode, who had written the ill-received In the Forest of the Night from Series 8. And it was better than that, and I enjoyed it up until the part where the rest of the humans woke up. Because when it was just 12 and Bill, and trying to figure out what was going on, and just dealing with the emoji robots, and I love how when the badge got on the Doctor, it was all frowny face, and, making that face, confused face. It was cool. And, still, once again, the highlight of this episode was the banter and the byplay between 12 and Bill, and as their relationship builds. And then when they added more characters, the colonists that were waking up, I don't know, something kind of went south. But I love how there was a callback to the previous episode when Bill asked the Doctor, she's like, why do you look like a penguin with your ass on fire when you run? That was one of Bill's better moments, especially in episode 2, Smile, which I enjoyed half of it. So, I thought the emoji robots might end up being kind of stupid, but they weren't as bad as, I was afraid they were going to be. The ending was, but, it was it was an improvement over the last one Frank Cottrell Boyce did. So it wasn't as good as the pilot, but it wasn't horrible. And then plus we're left with the whole, the deepening mystery of what's in the vault. And I'll get to Nardole in a minute, because Nardole had a little bitty part in the first 2 episodes. It was a little bit more in the pilot and not so much in Smile. Then we get to Thin Ice, which I think has so far been the highlight of the season so far. Love it when they go back in time. We all kind of got a little bit of a callback when they got to the Frost Fair in London with Bill coming out of the TARDIS and her going, well, I'm black. Is there going to be a problem with slavery and whatever? Am I going to have to be worried about carted off? So that was a bit of a callback to Martha in the Shakespeare Code. And then also the reference about the butterfly effect. And, I'm saying that they've made Bill very, very up to date and up to speed. And like I said, things that we would probably ask the doctor, or we would say to the doctor if we were in these situations. Now, the fish or the large sea creature that was underneath the Thames eating people, it kind of reeked of the beast below. But once again, the strength of the episode was Capaldi and Pearl Mackie, and that has been the strength of the season so far. And when Bill was questioning the doctor about, have you ever, how many people have you killed, or how many, it wasn't as heavy-handed, like say as when Clara, got all up in Capaldi's face in Kill the Moon, which is one of my least favorite Who episodes. I despise that episode, but that's another story, never mind anyway. But it was handled really well. And then, about the I've moved on, or we've moved on, and there was a callback a few minutes later when they were with the kids. And the scripts, they're not, RTD at his prime, or even Moffat at his prime, but they're doing service to the role, and they're doing service to both the companion and 12. So I'm really, we're not breaking any new ground here, but it's been an enjoyable series. And the highlight of Thin Ice has to be, I'm sorry I'm forgetting the name of the villain of the piece, but, Capaldi telling Bill that, needed to maintain decorum and not let anger get the best of her. And then when he comes in and makes a racist remark to Bill, and then Capaldi just knocks the shit out of him, that was awesome. That was the highlight of the episode. And then, we kind of had, the second week in a row that was the sonic screwdriver to the rescue, but it was still an enjoyable romp. And we're left with the question, once again, after 3 episodes, what's in the vault? What's Nardole guarding? Or why is the doctor confined to Earth, or supposed to stay on Earth? And we'll get a little bit more into that after we get to Knock Knock, which was the last Saturday's episode. And I'm going to kind of group that in the Smile category. The strong parts were, once again, Bill and 12, their byplay about he's my grandfather, my granddaughter, I'm not old enough to, I love this whole recurring joke through Capaldi's whole run that he doesn't look old enough to be so-and-so's grandfather or father, with callbacks to Clara, with Danny, I think it was in The Caretaker, there was that same joke, but I really enjoyed that. And the whole, Capaldi, 12 knowing something was wrong when they first got to the apartment building. The younger actors that they used in this show, in this episode, it was kind of like a low rent horror movie. You were just kind of like, all right, alien menace, kill them, get it over with, get them off screen. They're, the BBC didn't really go out on a limb, sparing expense on getting good acting talent for this episode, with the exception of David Suchet, who, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who played the landlord. And the twist at the end about him actually being the son and not the father, that was a cool little twist. And his breakdown, that was pretty, showed that, there was some acting talent outside of Capaldi and Pearl Mackie in the episode. But the whole alien wood lice thing, turning people into wood, part of the house, it's not new ground. It's nothing we've not seen a version of in Who before. But it just wasn't as tight as Thin Ice, or it just wasn't as tight as the pilot. So, I did not enjoy it as much as the first and the third episode, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't Sleep No More, or it wasn't Fear Her, or it wasn't the one with the gangers from the Matt Smith episode. So, they're we've not had a totally horrible episode. We've just had some that, they've not been as good, but the main through line for this whole series so far has been the relationship with 12 and Bill, and it's been fantastic. Bill is rapidly becoming one of my new favorite companions, and they've not beat us over the head with the fact that she's gay, they're outside of a couple references, and yeah, there was the kind of ill-fated love story with Heather in episode 1, but then we've not really had a callback to it except for the roommate that was hitting on her in Knock Knock, and that's cool. I mean, it's 2017, for Christ's sake. If you're gay, straight, other persuasion, who cares? Just don't, constantly beat us upside the head with it. But they've not done that in Series 10, which is awesome. And I've enjoyed Series 10. I'm giving it a really passing grade so far. I'm not going to catch Oxygen tonight because the band is playing. More on that in a minute. But hopefully I'll get to catch it either tomorrow or Monday, and I'll get a review of Oxygen up as soon as I can. Now, the inner running theme of the series so far, this year's The Hybrid or Promised Land or whatever, seems to be what's in the vault. What has the Doctor landlocked on Earth guarding the vault at this university? And Nardole, who hasn't really played a huge role so far outside of kind of being the Doctor's valet and kind of tisking him every time he's going to like go off and do anything, and watching the vault. And we heard knocking on the vault at the end of Thin Ice, and then at the end of Knock Knock, we saw the Doctor bringing Mexican takeout and going, hey, talking to the door or whatever's inside, going, I've got takeout, it's Mexican. Got a story about, some monsters eating some teenagers, can I come in? And the obvious answer that a lot of people think is obviously it's Missy that's inside the vault. And we know Michelle Gomez is returning as Missy in Series 10. And then some people are speculating that since we've seen John Sims Master in the previews, that it could be John Sims Master inside the vault. There's even been some speculation because David Bradley allegedly is returning to reprise the role of William Hartnell / the First Doctor in the Christmas episode, that it could be the First Doctor inside the vault, which, we've seen the pictures of Susan in the Doctor's office, and, the kind of relationship that 12 is having with Bill is almost kind of a throwback to the First Doctor's relationship with Susan, his granddaughter, which, we had the callback to grandfather, granddaughter in Knock Knock. And, it could be Mondasi and Cybermen. We know they're coming. So, I mean, it's anybody's guess, but the smart money is either on Missy or the John Sim Master. So, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, I will try to get a review of Oxygen up as soon as I can. On personal note, the band is playing tonight at Fairview Tavern for everybody that's local in Western North Carolina, playing from 9 to 12. So come out and see us if you can. Once again, you can check the band out on League of Fools at YouTube or League of Fools Band on Facebook. And we've had last couple of weeks, we've had some great shows, great crowds, hoping to have the same tonight. On another note, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so I want to wish a happy Mother's Day to my mother, the artist herself, Diane, and my grandmother, Evelyn, and my stepmother, Anne, and my ex-mother-in-law, Denora, and any mothers out there that I'm forgetting or whatever. I want you to have a happy Mother's Day. And until next time, keep on keeping on, and may the Force be with you.